Hey everybody, before we begin, we would like to let you know that we recorded this episode before the tragic shooting at the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade on Wednesday. The episode contains the lighthearted tone that we usually strike, but we want to express our sympathies to the victims of this awful tragedy. We give our deepest condolences to the families who have lost loved ones. We wish quick recoveries to those injured and affected by the senseless violence, and we hope for a world where we can celebrate and come together without fear of this happening again. We hope our show can shed a sliver of light on a dark day, so if you are able to, please enjoy. Welcome to the Tea Huddle with Marisa and Kelly,
your only source for gridiron gossip. So if you liked the Super Bowl,
and if you enjoyed Taylor Swift's rookie season,
then this is the podcast for you.
Oh my gosh, this is our last episode of our first season of the Tea Huddle.
I can't believe it. What a season. But we will be back the morning of the NFL draft on April 25th. So everyone mark your calendars.
Yes, definitely. And also follow at the Tea Huddle on Instagram, TikTok, at the Tea Huddle Pod on Twitter, because we will keep updating you there. There will, I'm sure, be no shortage of football drama and gossip in between now and the draft, and then in between the draft and the start of next season. So we got you covered there. Yeah, but wow, my first Super Bowl as a football fan. In years past, I didn't even know who was playing in the Super Bowl, let alone like cared or was invested. But it felt great to be part of the action this year.
And you're not the only new fan. It was the highest rated non-news broadcast ever with 123.5 million viewers.
Thanks to Taylor, right? I mean, like a huge part of this is the Taylor Swift effect. Another part of it is the Tea Huddle effect.
Definitely.
But like, yeah, it's hard to imagine that the Super Bowl, which is always one of the highest broadcast events of the year, could have just surpassed its records. Any records. It was the highest, what is it called?
News.
But including news since the moon landing. The only broadcast that had more views was the moon landing.
That's wild.
Yeah, nuts.
Taylor is equal to the moon landing.
It's kind of scary that one person holds that much power. But so much happened on the field, during halftime, after the game, and we are going to get into all of it. So first, as always, Kelly, give us the rundown of all the football action from Super Bowl 58.
A lot did happen during the Super Bowl, but it started out slow, I have to say. It was so slow that I tuned into the SpongeBob Nickelodeon Network stream.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, cute. Yeah, it was narrated by Patrick, and I loved it. But I switched back and forth a little bit in the first half because there were 0 points scored in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Boring. And then by halftime, the 49ers were up only by 10-3. So pretty slow moving first half. But the action picked up in the second half when a muffed punt by the 49ers set up the Chiefs for an easy touchdown. Momentum started to change.
It's all about momentum. If I've learned one thing, it's that it's all about momentum.
Seriously.
And what a center does.
The real turning point during the Super Bowl was when the Chiefs blocked Jake Moody's kick for an extra point in the fourth quarter, because this allowed the Chiefs to tie instead of needing to go for the win at the end of the game. But in overtime, the 49ers couldn't get it done, which could have been caused by the team not knowing the overtime rules.
Nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, so this Super Bowl 58, was the first game ever under these new postseason overtime rules, where each team is guaranteed at least one possession. Previously, the first team to score a touchdown would end the game.
Okay, like sudden death, like whoever scores.
Yeah.
Did it have to be a touchdown?
It had to be a touchdown.
Okay, so if we scored a field goal, we're still playing.
Yeah, then the other team has the opportunity to score also.
Got it. But everything changed.
Everything changed. Yeah, it turns out 49ers didn't fully understand that. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, the coach, said he understood. Still, people have been questioning his strategy there, but...
Yes, I saw one of our faves here at the Tea Huddle, Kyle Juszczyk, said after the game in a press conference, I didn't even realize the playoff rules were different. Like, I'm sorry, what? Yeah. Eric Armstead, another guy on the 49ers who we haven't really gotten into him. I like him because he once on TikTok broke down his check. He was like, this is how much I make as an NFL player.
Pay transparency.
This is how much goes to taxes. This is how much goes to health insurance. And he like broke down dollar by dollar. Anyway, he said he learned these rules on the Jumbotron as they were in commercial break before they went into overtime.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't be admitting that.
Not
to the public.
And it's been 2 weeks since you played a football game.
Yeah.
The Pro Bowl week was in between. In those 14 days, did nobody think like, oh, let's make sure everybody knows the rules?
Yeah, just in case it gets there. And yeah, I mean, that's the opposite of how the Chiefs prepared, because they said they have been practicing with the overtime rules in mind, and they knew about the rules in preseason. So they were really prepared.
Because they have the mindset of winners.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're ready.
In everyone's defense, although not really, because I think this is indefensible, but correct me if I'm wrong, this is the second Super Bowl ever to go into overtime.
Yes.
And the first with these new rules.
Yep.
But like, expect the unexpected. Prepare for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
If you
want to win,
you plan to fail, you guys.
Well, lesson learned.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs, congrats. They won the Super Bowl. They, I guess, are officially a dynasty.
It seems.
3 Super Bowl wins in 5 seasons. That's pretty impressive.
Dynastic, yeah.
Can't say I'm too thrilled about the Chiefs coming for the Patriots stats, but
yeah.
But Taylor is.
Oh, she sure is. Girls on cloud 9. The game was exciting. It was fun. I cared about what was going on. I knew the rules. I followed it all. That was a first. But my Super Bowl came after.
Yeah, started at the end of the game.
Oh my God. First of all, she goes onto the field as she did when they won the AFC championship. But this time we got a mic'd up version of them kissing and hugging and him saying, baby, I'm so glad you came. You flew from halfway around the world. She said it was electric. Oh my God.
His word.
Then they go to the club. Like, okay, this is what I have to say about Taylor. She has been so careful with every move she's made for like 8 years. She doesn't go out in public. She's not carefree. She's not having a good time. She's like calculated and cautious. And we saw...
She's a party animal.
We saw Taylor, not literally because her hair was in a cute ponytail, but that girl let her hair down. She had 3 drinks in her hand. She's at a crowded club. Her poor security guys must have been freaking out.
I know.
They're singing to her songs. The videos of them kissing and dancing to her songs.
Like she's so casual about it. Like they're not her songs, but they're making out to "You Belong with Me" at the club with her parents there.
Yeah, she posted a TikTok. Like all of her social media use is pretty carefully curated and usually meant to promote ticket sales or merchandise or a new release of something. It's all promotional. But she posted a TikTok of them all at the club, including Travis. So it's their first social media launch, saying they said it was a friends and family party. Bring your parents, they said. And it's just videos of them all at the club while Ludacris Moneymaker is playing in the background. It's a funny TikTok. She's funny.
Yeah. She's having a good time. And I loved her chugging the beers during the game.
Yes. She got off that flight from Tokyo and was like, I'm here to have a good time.
Yeah, it's impressive. After, what was it, 3 shows?
4
shows.
In a row.
Flying across the world. Mm-hmm. Staying up all night.
Yeah.
I mean, that adrenaline at that point.
She won the Super Bowl.
She won.
So she was celebrating. The tweets were so good. It was like, first woman ever to win a Super Bowl. Because she did it. Also, honorable mention to Jason Kelce wearing his like wrestler mask or whatever it was,
Oh my
just
God.
getting drunk as a skunk.
He was wasted. I saw videos of him like falling over on his way out of
And
the
like
club.
the juxtaposition between, even though Travis and Taylor seem a little sauced, they're so in love. They're so happy. They're
Like
so
putting
lovey.
on her jacket.
They're in like a love bubble. And then drunk Jason Kelce is in overalls, like swaying in the background. It's just the best content that I've consumed. I mean, ever. Remember when we thought them walking down a hallway, not even holding hands, was amazing? We've all come.
I know. I
so
can't believe
far.
we're here right now.
I can't either. We'd also like to say, and I'm sure we've said it before, we'll say it again. We started this NFL gossip podcast before Taylor's the most famous pop star in the world and the star of the Dynasty Super Bowl winning championship team decided to become the most famous couple to ever exist. It was just a lucky happenstance.
Yeah. Thanks, Taylor. Thanks, Travis.
Yeah,
And everyone else out there.
definitely.
As fun as it was to watch those two lovebirds trailer after the win, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for Travis Kelce during the game.
True. Thanks for reminding.
Yeah, there was a questionable moment, which I'm sure everyone knows that I'm going to bring up. It was when Travis forcibly ran into his coach, Andy Reid, and screamed in his face, got up right up in his face.
Aggressive manner.
Very aggressively.
Yeah, I forgot as I was gushing just now that I'm mad at Travis Kelce. First of all, that's your boss. Second of all, that's an elderly man. He checked him like how you do in hockey when you're skating past an opponent who's in pads and everything. It was very aggressive. The ladies in our DMs online, on TikTok, on Twitter, everywhere are not pleased. Everyone's like, what a red flag. Taylor, watch out for him. Like, do we think he acts like this at home? I think it was inappropriate, inexcusable, not good, not okay. I don't think we should all be like writing him off for good. It was a high, tense, impassioned moment. But if you're shoving your elderly boss, it's not a good look.
Not a good look. Yeah, Andy Reid, he said it was a big deal. He wasn't fazed by it. He just shows how passionate Travis is and how he wants to be out there scoring touchdowns. That's why he was so heated. So he likes the passion. But I agree, not a good look.
So one negative point for you.
Negative point. Yeah, there were some comments from other players in the league being like, if that was me, I would have been kicked out of the league. That's what AJ Brown said, who plays for the Eagles. So
implying that Kelce is like NFL's sweetheart poster boy.
Yeah.
Like you bring the pop star to the game and you get to do whatever you want. True. I think if it was a lot of other people, it would have been a much bigger deal. We don't love a double standard.
we don't.
No. We like consequences for actions here at the Tea Huddle. Yes, we have to keep an eye on that. And
yeah, hopefully it's just a heat of the moment situation and we can look past it. But
like
we're disappointed,
yes,
Travis.
There will be other heated moments in your life. You can't be shoving people.
Yeah.
And, so shame on you.
Well, that's the rundown for the football game that was played. Marissa, give us a rundown on the halftime show.
Usher dazzled at the halftime show.
He did.
There were dancers and roller skaters and acrobats flying through the air and strippers on the pole. One fell off a pole. Did you see that?
I did see that. It was gracefully though.
Yeah.
She pulled it off.
Yeah, it was unintentional, I would say.
Yeah.
Special guests galore: Ludacris, Lil Jon, Alicia Keys, Jermaine Dupri, will.i.am, and her. Notably absent Justin Bieber, which rumors were swirling leading up that he was going to be there. People said it hadn't been confirmed, but that he had a dressing room in the stadium, which I don't think would be true. I think they would know before day of who is performing and who is not.
Yeah, I mean, it was very choreographed.
Exactly.
Down to the second.
Right. Like, let's say they were like, okay, well, day of, you just let us know, like, where would that have gone? What parts would they have removed? You can't, it didn't seem like an on the fly kind of thing.
Roller skate, though. I mean, he plays hockey, so I'm sure he can roller skate.
So true. Maybe he was going to be the one roller skating and through whoever's legs.
Yeah.
But,
so he was at the game, but he just did not perform.
Exactly. And
Bummer.
apparently Usher reached out to him and he said he just, quote, wasn't feeling it. All right.
Sad.
Well, he wasn't feeling it. My hope is that he is saving up for his own halftime show, Justin Bieber, because I think he'd put on a great show.
I think he would.
And I think Usher put on a great show. One important thing to mention and discuss. So Alicia Keys, whose beautiful, wonderful, fabulous, iconic song, My Boo, that they did together, loved every minute of that. So she first, was revealed in the halftime show at a piano singing If I Ain't Got You. And there was a voice crack. There was a missed note. And if you look on YouTube, that missed note is not there. They cleaned it up for YouTube. And there are videos of the actual thing because it's 2024. Everybody records everything that happens. Yeah. And it's just clear as day that in the live version, she sounds one way. And in the YouTube version, she sounds in a different.
Her first note was a little
way.
off, but she did recover.
Definitely recovered. People thought maybe Usher was getting a little handsy. He was cuddled up on her.
I loved it.
I loved it too.
It brought me back to the music video from way back when.
Absolutely. And it's theater. It's performance art. If people are making out in a movie, you're not like, what is her husband going to think about it? They were playing characters.
Yeah.
And Swizz Beatz, Alicia Keys' husband, basically confirmed that. He said in an Instagram post, you guys are all talking about the wrong thing. Tonight's performance was nothing but amazing with two amazing giants. Congrats, Usher and my love, Alicia Keys. And speaking of love and the halftime show, as if he wasn't busy enough, Usher got married on Super Bowl Sunday.
In Vegas.
Yeah. He was like, this is going to be the biggest day of my life. He and his girlfriend, Jennifer, I'm definitely going to mess up this last name. I should have practiced this. Goycochea.
Just say his girlfriend, Jennifer.
His girlfriend, Jennifer, swung by Vegas Weddings, which is the name of
one of the many
wedding venues, along with his mom, Janetta Patton, who served as their witness. Usher and Jennifer have been together since 2019, and they have 2 young kids together. They obtained their marriage license on February 8th, the Thursday before the big game, but made it official on Super Bowl Sunday. We don't know if it was before or after the game, but they were at a bunch of after parties after the game. So maybe they dipped out real quick from the stadium, missed overtime, swung by Vegas Weddings, then hit
just did
the
it
clubs.
all.
Yeah.
I feel like it might have been before, but I don't know. Anything Vegas is open all.
True. Could have been
all day, all night.
Maybe it was at midnight, the night before, late night. We don't know. But congrats to them. This is Usher's 3rd marriage. His first was to Tamika Foster, a stylist who he shares 2 older children with. And when asked about it, if she was happy for him, she said he's a great dad and a dope performer, which are both compliments, but are not saying I'm so happy for him. But we're happy for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Congrats. Usher.
Big day.
Yeah. Great show.
Great job.
Mm-hmm. Rollerblading, skating, all over that
and singing.
stage.
His voice sounded amazing.
Definitely. I loved it.
And that brings us to a special edition of Step Out of the Car.
Step out of the car. All the people arrested at the Super Bowl. Step out of the car.
I don't know the over-under for arrests at a Super Bowl, but 6 people were arrested at Allegiant Stadium on Sunday for various offenses.
We read that over 61,000 people were in attendance at the game. So honestly, 6 is not that bad.
Not bad. Way less than 1%.
It's still notable.
Yeah. And they are some interesting ones.
Mm-hmm.
First, we have one for grand larceny, and I really want to know how many chicken fingers you have to steal to add up to $1,000.
Yes, it's grand larceny if what you're stealing is over $1,000. So also it could have been a purse, a watch.
Literally anything in the whole stadium was over $1,000.
Definitely. Someone
dropped an earring.
Yeah, it could have been so many things.
One was arrested for battery against a police officer. We don't have all the details on this one, or any. But
yeah, but don't do that.
Yeah, probably some drunken incident is my guess.
Yes. Also likely to be drunken incidents. 2 of the 6 arrests were for obstruction, which is getting in the way of a police officer doing their job. So, we could go off and guess that they were aiding and abetting these next 2 arrests.
Yeah, we didn't have 1, but 2 streakers in the third quarter. A lot of you may not have seen this because it was not shown on the broadcast, but 2 people managed to get on the field and start taking off their clothes.
Yeah. I don't know if we can call them full streakers because only top.
Only the
they were
shirts
men
were
and
off,
only
yeah.
shirts were off. So it was like a pretty mild streak, but they were on the field, foots on field, like feet on field, like
they're running.
Yeah.
As fast as they can, they say.
Yeah. One of the streakers, Alex Gonzalez, told TMZ that his master plan was to place a bet on whether a streaker would take the field at the Super Bowl and then collect on his winnings. So he was going to bet that somebody would streak, then he was going to streak, and then he was going to win all the money.
That seems illegal, but
it does seem illegal.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. He went to some big UFC event the night before and he told everybody, Dr. Phil, the Nelk boys, that he was going to streak and encourage all of them to place bets. This also all feels illegal. Like, I'm going to do this thing. You should bet on the fact that I'm going to do this thing.
Yeah, and then give me some of the winnings.
That.
Also, how does he know Dr. Phil?
I think he was just rubbing shoulders with Dr. Phil at this UFC event.
He's got money.
It was like Vegas Super Bowl weekend. Dr. Phil is the least of the celebs probably at this event.
What's he doing there?
He was the only one that was like, okay, I'll listen to whatever this like drunk weirdo has to say. So this was his big master plan. He bought 2 tickets the day before the game for $42,000, but it's no big deal because he's going to make it all back on his big winning bet. And before the game, he went to Dick's Sporting Goods to buy cleats.
So he really had to get away from
run on the field. And then before the game, when he went to go make the bet, it was no longer available. Like some prop bets are available for a while, like, is Usher going to take his shirt off? And then it's no longer a bet. You got to get in there in the window. And this man did not get in there in the window, but he felt like he had hyped it up so much. He had told so many people that his back was against the wall. He had no choice but to do it.
He couldn't let Dr. Phil down.
And then he did it, or he attempted to do it.
He got down there.
Yeah, he did. So those are the 6 arrests from the Super Bowl. Also, in this special segment of Step Out of the Car, we have an update to last week's. So last week's segment was all about Janarius Robinson, who, as we told you, was arrested on suspicion of a DUI at 6 a.m. the previous Tuesday, driving on the Las Vegas Strip. Well, we now know that he allegedly hit a woman with his car. Police were called to the Aria Hotel after a woman was hit by a vehicle in the valet area and became pinned between 2 cars.
Yikes.
She was taken to the hospital before cops arrived. In the police report that this was all revealed in, details of how many drinks Robinson said he had and when he had had his last drink were redacted from the report. So we don't have those details. But we do know that the police obtained a warrant for a blood draw and that Robinson is scheduled for a court appearance on June 4th.
Yeah, we'll see what the Raiders have to say about this because I know they don't take lightly to DUIs, and especially if there's harm to another human being.
Yeah. I feel like that you got to be strict as the Las Vegas Raiders. Otherwise, everybody's going to be out there running amok.
Yeah.
Like
Janarius
Robinson was.
Don't drink and drive.
Yeah. Important note. Don't drink and drive. Don't obstruct justice. Don't grand larcen.
Don't streak or do.
Or do. That one, if it feels
funny.
right.
If you promised you would, you should.
And more importantly, if you promised Dr. Phil that you would, you basically have no choice.
We couldn't end the season without a new segment. So for the first time, here are the T-Huddle Super Bowl studs and duds.
Okay, let's start with the studs. My first stud is Juwan Jennings on the 49ers. I had never heard of him before. Never
Me neither,
crossed my radar. And we don't think he got enough recognition for his great game. He had a touchdown pass to McCaffrey and a touchdown catch. Only the second person ever to do this in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, the only other person to do this is Nick Foles in the Super Bowl against the Patriots.
Oh, you said that without twitching at all.
Just numb to it all.
Yeah.
My first stud is both of the kickers because they both broke Super Bowl records for having the longest field goal in the Super Bowl. So first, Jake Moody from the 49ers, he kicked a 55-yard field goal, and then Butker kicked a field goal for 57 yards. So neck and neck, and they're the best of the best out there.
I hope for those 15 minutes he relished in his
I
record.
know.
He's like, this is my record. And then it
So
was
sad that it was taken
right away
so
from
quickly.
Usher, obviously, total stud.
Can't argue that.
Needless to say anything more.
Patrick Mahomes, got to give it up for Patrick. He got it done. He received his third Super Bowl MVP, and I don't see him slowing down anytime soon.
That is studly, whether we like it or not. Post Malone was a stud of the day, I would say. Loved his rendition of America the Beautiful. And then he was out at the after parties after having a little bit of fun. He was wearing the Cowboys jacket that he wore during his performance, and Brittany Mahomes got him to take it off and put on a Chiefs jacket for one song, and one song only. He made that very clear. But he had a great performance. He had a lot of fun.
He also was in a commercial, I think. He had a lot of screen time.
Big day for Posty.
Another stud, Christian McCaffrey.
Total stud.
He carried the offense on the 49ers. Kittle, Debo, Ayuk did not do very much, but Christian McCaffrey out there had 80 rushing yards, 80 receiving yards. He's the first player in Super Bowl history to finish with over 75 yards in each category. Wow. And you could see he was hustling out there. He was like bruised up, dirty. He was trying his hardest, but you need more than that.
Yeah. Earlier in the season, weeks ago, Olivia Culpo posted a video of him all bruised up after a regular season game. I can only imagine the bruises after he was just getting hit. Yeah. And then he would get up and do another play and get hit.
He's feeling it.
And then my last stud, Chris Jones. Love him. Seems like a great guy. Love his energy. Played amazing.
Chris Jones, he's a defensive tackle for the Chiefs.
And he came for Brock Purdy over and over and over again. And then him and Andy Reid celebrating at the end. He was lying on the ground and Andy Reid mounted him and laid atop him. And they just relished in the celebration. And it was studly to me. But let's move on to the duds, because there were a lot of those as well.
Can't have studs without the duds.
Mm-hmm.
So first on my list of duds is the whole coaching staff of the 49ers for not communicating the new overtime rules to the rest of the team.
Massive duds. Dud, all caps, exclamation point. My first dud is Jackson Mahomes. The fact that he was anywhere near this sucks. But there's all these videos of him trying to get in a party. He's trying to schmooze with Jason Kelsey in the lobby of one of the hotels. There's a video from Saturday night of him, what it appears to be, getting denied from Brittany Mahomes' table at a club. Feel the need to say that the video is clearly spliced. Like the first half of the video, you can see Brittany's white fur jacket on the side. So she's next to him at the front, and then it looks like it pans right over to her, shrugging it off and being like, I don't care that he's not getting in. It could have been accurate, but it is spliced. So it's not certain. But either way, he's a dud.
Always a dud. Yeah, he was really clinging on to everybody. I didn't like it. Next on the duds, Travis Kelce for shoving Andy Reid. We didn't like that. That was a Dudley move.
Totally agree. Justin Bieber, a dud for not being into performing during Usher's halftime show. Him and Usher could have collabed on a little Somebody to Love remix reprise. We could have gotten a little Baby in there. Just it would have been great.
List goes on and on
to his early days.
And I would love to see him dancing out there, him and Usher. They got the moves.
Side by side. Would have been epic, but he robbed that from us. He robbed us of that.
And for that, he's a dud.
Mm-hmm.
Next dud on my list is the 49ers offensive line. Brock Purdy, as you said, was getting hit over and over by Chris Jones, and the offensive line just could not stop him. So, dud.
Kim Kardashian's whole suite looked full of duds. Not to call out Justin Bieber, but now he's on the dud list twice because he was in Kim Kardashian's suite. It looked like it could have been amazing. CJ Stroud was there, Justin and Hailey Bieber, Kim, Khloe, Kendall Jenner, Russell Wilson and Ciara, Lala, Anthony. It should have been amazing. People were sleeping. People are like picking their nails. It looked like the most boring place in all of America. The Super Bowl party that I was at looked like so much more fun than that suite. What a waste of $2.5 million. And not that the Taylor and Kim rivalry should be, you know, we don't want to stoke those flames, but Taylor's suite looked so fun and Kim Kardashian's suite looked dud.
And last but not least, the last stud is the Hellman's Mayo Cat commercial.
You didn't like that one?
I didn't like this one. It was a huge missed opportunity by not having quarterback Will Levis in the commercial. He was signed with them as their NFL quarterback with Hellman's, and yet nowhere in sight. As
we covered when we were talking about Will Levis, early in the season, he puts mayonnaise in his coffee. He did a whole like shoot with Hellman's.
Come on, guys.
Super Bowl,
it's the Super Bowl.
Football. Will Levis, Hellman's like, hello.
Put it in the coffee. Drink it. Great commercial.
There you go.
I mean, even Pizza Hut had Tommy DeVito. You got to lean into it.
Stud.
Pizza Hut, stud. Mm-hmm. Hellman's, stud.
Mm-hmm. I like that this might be the last time we see Tommy DeVito. Maybe I'll eat my words and he'll be the star of the 2024-5 season. But maybe
he'll be a solid backup, I think.
Okay. Me too.
All right, everyone. Today we have a special jam-packed Final Goss.
Final Goss.
What do you have for us today, Marissa?
As you said, we've got a lot. We have a few gosses. And the first one up is about a scandal brewing on the Miami Dolphins. You may remember towards the beginning of the season, we talked about Miami Dolphin player Xavier Howard being accused of knowingly giving a woman a sexually transmitted disease. Well, on Tuesday, a new lawsuit was revealed, and it alleges that a second Miami Dolphin has also knowingly given a woman a sexually transmitted infection with failure to warn her or disclose it. Apparently, the lawsuit was made available to the Miami New Times, and in it, it had the name of the player redacted by being covered with black boxes. However, they said that if you copy and paste the text to like another document, the name of the defendant is visible. So Miami court system, redact better. But the Miami New Times said that out of respect for the privacy, they did not reveal the name of the player, but they did say in the headline that it was a second player. So that rules out Xavier. You guys down in Florida.
It's crazy how it's the same thing for both of these players.
Stop doing this. Everybody should be informed on their health status, and before engaging in any activity, should make sure that the woman knows their status as well.
Or else it'll be face of the lawsuit.
Definitely. I do feel the need to mention that Xavier Howard's suit was dropped, but that could also mean settled out of court, which could mean just pay to make this go away. We don't know. But everything we've read about this guy just tells us that he sucks. But if it is revealed in a legal way who the second player is, we'll let you know.
Yeah,
online.
we will share.
Mm-hmm.
Our next final goss has to do with beef between a 49ers lineman, Jonathan Feliciano, and Eagles defensive lineman, Jalen Carter. So the situation began when Feliciano went on Twitter after the Super Bowl loss and blamed his fellow line mate, Spencer Burford, for missing a block on Chris Jones that ended the 49ers drive. Feliciano went on to apologize on Twitter. He said, "I'm sorry, bro. I woke up hungover and being a bitch and trying to have one's back. I hurt you." So he apologized. But the beef starts now. Jalen Carter from the Eagles saw these tweets and saw an opportunity to chime in, tweeting, "This is the same dude who spoke on my dead teammate and the reason I was emotional during our game, SMH." So let me back up and give a little bit of backstory here.
Yeah, break it down.
Following Georgia's 2023 college national title, where Carter was playing for.
Okay, so this is last March. So
Last
like
March.
about a year
Yes,
ago.
he's a rookie this year. His college, Georgia, they won championship. And to celebrate, I guess, Carter was racing his Jeep against another player when the vehicle that they were driving in crashed, which killed his college Bulldogs teammate, Devin Willock, and Chandler LaCroix, the Georgia football staffer who was driving the car.
Yikes. So Jalen Carter was not driving that car, but he was racing against that car.
That car crashed and those two passed away. There's a few other people in the car who also got injured, but they survived.
So sad.
Yeah, very heartbreaking. So yeah, it's really messed up that Feliciano would say that during the game. Feliciano responded on Twitter and kind of disputed what was said. He tweeted, "Dude told me he was going to murder me and my kids, would never see me again 3 times because I was laughing at him after getting a flag. I said, I believe you got a body." Then he continued for weeks posting my family and reaching out to my friends. He went on to say, "If you dish it, you got to be able to take it." He talked about my kids. I made that reference. I lost a friend in an accident too, so I understand why he was upset. I did feel bad, and I thought about apologizing until he started posting my kids on his Instagram. Then I had to get the NFL involved.
Oh my God. So he's acknowledging, he said, I made that reference. So he's acknowledging that he said something about like,
yes,
your friend died. But at the same time, if he's saying, I'm going to murder you and your kids will never see you again, that's not trash talk. Trash talk is like, you suck. Not saying 3 times your kids will never see you again or making fun of somebody's tragically passed away teammate.
I feel both of it is messed up.
Yeah.
Like, and
ick.
I guess it's been beef that's been going on because this happened when they played each other, when the Eagles played the Chiefs.
And it's bubbling over.
It's bubbling over. Yeah, now they're making it public. It sounds like Feliciano went to the NFL with complaints about this, but I'm sure there'll be more to come. I mean, it doesn't sound like these guys are done chirping, beefing each other. So definitely look out for updates on our Instagram as we find out more information.
Yeah, I feel like I need to know who to be rooting for in this battle because right now it feels like both of them are wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe that's true. Maybe the answer is don't root for either of them, root against both of them. But we'll let you know. Whew, that one's heavy.
Yes.
We're going to round it out with a little bit of lighter, a little more fun, frivolous final goss. So this one is so full circle because this was our final goss week 2 of the season and we have not gotten any real solid nuggets since then. But just in time for our season finale, we finally got our first paparazzi moment of Kim Kardashian and Odell Beckham Jr.
We knew it.
We knew it all along. Have they been secretly dating this entire season? It sort of seems like maybe they have. So they were both in Vegas for the Super Bowl. As we mentioned, Kim was in the sleepiest suite we've ever seen with Michael Rubin. He is the CEO of Fanatics, the like merchandise thing. And he, I think, like loves famous people. He loves throwing parties. He loves schmoozing and hanging out. So Kim was at the Super Bowl in his suite. And we know him because he is actually the one who had this big fancy 4th of July white party where Kim and Odell were first rumored to have linked up. So there was a big Fanatics party at the Marquee Day Club in the Cosmopolitan Saturday night before the Super Bowl. And there's a video at the party and you see Kim and Odell see each other at the party and go in for a hug and somebody's big head is in the way, but you see her arm like reach up to hug him and then immediately retract. So it's almost like she was like, oh, shoot, we do this all the time, but like I forgot we're in public and I shouldn't be affectionate towards you. Maybe.
Yeah, because I mean, they've been hiding it for all season and they're pretty good at it.
Right? Then in a later second video, you see them walking through the lobby, probably to the elevator, and they're just in the same shot. So that's the first time that we see them like not side by side, but close enough. Then in the third video, you see Kim get into the elevator. Some other people are getting into the elevator. Lala Anthony, who's like her friend, used to be married to Carmelo Anthony, the basketball player. We don't cover basketball. Football's enough for us. But then Chloe is about to get in the elevator. They're like telling people you can't get in the elevator. Like we're saving room for the people who need to be in this elevator. Chloe is about to get into the elevator. And then she looks around like there's somebody from their group that isn't there yet that she needs. Then you see her grab Odell Beckham Jr.'s wrist to like pull him into the elevator. he goes and stands near Kim, and then Chloe uses her hand to block
Wow.
anybody who'd be taking pictures, which 1,000 people are taking pictures. Your hand is not big enough to block the whole elevator.
What a good sister, though. She's trying.
Yeah, definitely. My theory is that Kanye West is a difficult ex-husband to have, and perhaps that...
And he was there, too, right?
Yes, with his wife. We don't know if they're legally married, but he calls her his wife. And that maybe she really wants to keep... I mean, he was making death threats to Pete Davidson when they were publicly together. So maybe she has real reasons for wanting to keep this so private. But we saw you guys. We saw you hug, and we saw you get into the elevator. And more importantly, we saw Chloe determined to get him into the elevator. So it's not like they were just like, oh, I saw you here. And
They were together.
they were together.
And didn't we see Kim at Odell's birthday party? And
We
New
didn't
York
see
City?
it, but we read on TMZ that it happened. And TMZ,
I was there.
and TMZ knows what's... You saw it. I didn't get invited. But So I think was it for Christmas that I asked for this, or at some point I said, I said, I want paparazzi pictures of Kim and Odell.
And here we are, our last episode. We finally got some photos, and we will keep looking.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We'll keep sharing as we see them, but it's looking more and more like a real relationship.
Maybe she'll be there in a Kristen Juszczyk original Odell Beckham Jr. jersey jacket for game 1 of next season.
We'll have Taylor and Kim both.
Do the Chiefs and the Ravens play against each other, or are they in the same?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're in the same conference, but next year they are actually scheduled to play each other, potentially even in the season opener.
Oh,
so
my God.
That would be great if game 1 of the year we have Kim
and Taylor.
We
would be starting the season with my Super Bowl. It would just be downhill from there. Oh my God, exciting. Wow. Well,
there's so much more to look forward to.
Definitely. Before we call it quits, we would like to thank a few people who helped make our first season here as podcasters possible.
Thank you, John Regan, for our intro song that pumps us up before we record.
It sure does. Thank you to Andrew Freeborn for sound design on multiple segments.
Thank you, Jeff Greenspan, for music and sound design.
Thank you to Alex Meyer, aka Bob, for our amazing logo and graphics.
Thank you to Bernie Gurman for lending some gear and advising on audio.
And lastly, thank you to our producer and editor, Christian, for really being the third member of the Tea Huddle. He always makes sure we sound good and like we know what we are talking about. Sneaking us some stats now and then, editing every episode and every short we post online. So giant thank you to Christian.
We couldn't do without you.
Well, that does it for this season.
Be sure to tune in for our draft episodes in April and May.
We will have lots to catch up on because these players will have plenty of time to find new girlfriends, start some beef, and definitely get in trouble during the off season.
You know it. And thank you everyone for listening to this whole season. We had so much fun doing this. Every listen, like, comment, follow means so much to us. So thank you for being part of this journey.
Yeah. And be sure that we will come back real hot for next season. But until then,
stay juicy.